Comments. Okay. Are you ready? Hear sound? Yes. So bad.
Wait, what am I doing? Oh, well, Bart needs a link.
I got him.
Yep, 9:30. Here we go.
Right on time.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ما بعد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أوكي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واذكر في الكتاب إبراهيم إنه كان صديقا نبيا إذ قال لأبيه يا أبت لم تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر ولا يغني عنك شيئا يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاعتبرني أهدك صراطا سويا يا أبت لا تعبد الشيطان إن الشيطان كان للرحمن عصيا يا أبت إني أخاف أن يمسك عذاب من الرحمن فتكون للشيطان وليا قال أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم لئن لم تنته لأرجمنك واهجرني مليا قال سلام عليك سأستغفر لك ربي إنه كان بي حفيا وأعتزلكم وما تدعون من دون الله وأدعو ربي عسى ألا أكون بدعاء ربي شقيا فلما اعتزلهم وما يعبدون من دون الله وهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب وكلا جعلنا نبيا. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This is from Surah Maryam, and it's the exchange between Ibrahim and his father. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, one of the five greatest messengers, and Allah gives us an excellent example in how we can deal with our family members when it comes to giving da'wah, and in particular, how we would deal with our fathers when giving da'wah. And Allah says, and mentioned in the book, the story of Ibrahim, indeed, he was a man of truth and a prophet. When he said to his father, "O my father, why do you worship that which does not hear and does not see and will not benefit you at all?" And we have some of our fathers that are calling on the dead, and they are extolling and giving a type of worship that's only due to Allah on those people that are dead and that cannot hear and cannot help. And so this example applies to some of our situations. And he asks his father, "Why are you worshiping that which cannot benefit you at all? Oh, my father." And look at how he calls to his father. He says, "Ya abati," over and over again. And this is a honorable and respectful and a loving way of mentioning your father. Ya abati. Indeed, there has come to me of knowledge. He's telling his father, some information has come to me in which that hasn't come to you yet. And he's telling it in a respectful way. So follow me and I will guide you to an even path that's not extreme on one side or the other, but it's even. Oh, my father, do not worship shaitan. And anytime we engage in shirk, it is a worship of shaitan. It is a following of shaitan, and ibadah is obedience and is obedience and worship. So doing shirk and following shaitan instead of Allah is worship. And so that is why in Quran Allah says, when Ibrahim says to his father, "Don't worship shaitan," indeed shaitan has ever been to Allah, to Rahmani Asiyya. He's been disobedient to Allah. "Oh my father, indeed I fear that there will touch you a punishment from the most merciful, so that you would be to shaitan a companion in the fire." So he's calling his father in a loving and respectful way out of fear and hope that his father will not follow shaitan and will worship Allah alone. And his father says to him, after all this, the love and the respect and he's lowering his wing and giving a soft shoulder to his father, and his father says to him, "Araghibun an alihati ya Ibrahim?" Do you desire, do you have no desire for my gods, Ibrahim? Or another translation is that, are you trying to turn me away from my gods? Are you trying to turn me away we can translate it into our the into our times where people is it would be say, are you trying to turn me away from my sheikh? My sheikh is this, that, and other. Are you speaking out against my sheikh? This is what we are, some of us are going through now. But this is what Ibrahim said to his father. And his father says to him, are you trying to turn me away from my gods, Ya Ibrahim? If you don't stop, I will surely stone you. So avoid me for a long time. Basically, Ibrahim's father said, are you trying to turn me away from uh, my sheikh, my gods? If you don't stop this, I'm gonna hurt you, so you better just get out of my face and get away from me for a long time. Just go, because right now I'm hot with you. Basically, is what he's saying. What did Ibrahim said? Did he start arguing with his father? Did he disown his father? Did he cut his father off? Did Ibrahim's father cut him off? Did any of that happen? No. What happened? Ibrahim said, "Salamun alayk, peace be upon you," to his father. He gave salam to his father. He said, "I will ask Allah to forgive you, and indeed He is ever gracious to me." So this is an example, one example of many in the Quran of even when we are in dispute over the religion, to the point where Ibrahim's father was a mushrik, and he still dealt with him respectfully. He never said, I'm going to cut my father off. He did not do that. He made dua for him, even though his father was threatening to harm him. He didn't do that. What he did was he stayed giving da'wah to his father, and he spoke with his father with love and honor and respect. So we can all, whatever side you land on, we can all make sure that whenever we are giving da'wah, whether it's one side or the other, we are dealing with our family members, especially our parents. From parent to child should be very respectful and loving and honorable, even though there are major differences on either side. No one should ever cut anyone off. Our example is Ibrahim alayhi salam and the Quran and the Sunnah. And everywhere in the Sunnah you will find that they did not sever the ties of kinship, they kept giving da'wah in a respectful way. So may we be able to use this as an example and follow the footsteps of our father Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, shukran for that, Mubarak. Very good reminders. So we left off last week. We only got to 2 verses of a poem that was written in honor or in memory of Mubarak Jalani. And we're going to start doing this for our future shows as well. So we're not going to totally dismantle everything on our shows because it takes a long time. Things are repetitive. We're going to try to cover the main points and then try to put our documentation up on our websites so that you guys can access the other information yourselves. So before we get into that, we want to kind of talk about how we actually got the poem. So it was the Eid, so we all had time, right? We're all on vacation. We all have free time to do whatever. And we don't, and just so everybody listen, we don't usually do stuff like this. Typically the information we get, people just send it to us. Members of TMOA send it to us. People that are still stuck in the cult. We have multiple confidential anonymous informants. And a lot of stuff you guys just post yourselves and just put all in public for everybody to see. So it is what it is. But this one was actually kind of special because we had one of our sources sent us a link. I'll just reveal the source. We got a link from Jamal Eggroll, who he didn't give it to us himself, but he's the one who posted the link to this room of Caldel's. Who is Sheikh Jalani, right? So few of us were bored, few of us had some time. So we're like, you know what? Let's join the room. So we set off on a mission. We set off on a mission. And it was very for a community that is so worried about like wiretaps, FBI infiltration, all these different things, right? They are very easy to like if we can get into y'all stuff, I can only imagine like what the FBI has on file for all you guys. Like it's ridiculous.
It was so easy to get into.
It was so easy.
What was funny is when he actually Jamal actually asked, "How'd they get this link?" The man, he's the one who posted on his stuff. He's like, "How'd they get in here? How'd they get in
Click on
here?"
the link. Astaghfirullah. Oh my god.
Oh man! Remember Jamal Eggroll is the same guy who put up that status of that he's gonna start putting hands on us, right?
Yeah, he was like,
Because
I
you
was
got
trying to
physical
muzzle
interaction.
these barking dogs. Like, all right,
Yeah.
buddy, you got it, egg roll. All right.
And I forgot to give the update on that because remember I reached out to him directly and he was backtracking, of course.
Of
But he
course.
said he was gonna
Treat
meet
you to
me
dinner.
personally
Yeah.
on March 10th.
Mm.
So like March 10th came around. It was actually after March 10th. Like, hey, that guy was supposed to meet me, right? Go back and check. Go back to send him a message like, hey, what's going on? I'm blocked.
Dang,
So
crazy.
So instead of meeting me, he blocked me. So alhamdulillah.
Surprised he waited that long.
Yeah. So we did a raid of the of
Good
the
times right
Who
here.
is Sheikh Jelani room, and it was funny because we went in there, and then I just went in with my normal number and just basically did like I'm gonna take the shots while all the other people just go in the room.
This man Jaffer got shot so fast. I'm talking about like they saw him join the room. He posted freaking the link to the YouTube page and then this gift right here, and they had him out of here. I was talking about shot. I was like, dang, y'all move fast. Like look, he joins at freaking 2:38, 2:39, he's gone, removed. Like they wasted no time getting Jaffer out of there, bro. I was like, dang, y'all move pretty fast.
Oh, look at that astaghfirullah.
Is Jaffer in this group, girl?
So what's even funnier after that, so they see me, they're just totally distracted by all the other people that joined the room. Right? Don't know who else joined the room.
Wait. They got Kali out of here before Kali said a word. Like your brother Kali joined and Kali was gone instantly. He didn't even get to say anything. He joined, it was kicked. They're like, oh hell no, I ain't Kali. Kali ain't me inside this room.
I was prepared, so I had my copy and paste ready. So I was like, all right, join, paste. So what happened after I got kicked out, then people started contacting me, right? The one sister, I think we have her audio. May Allah guide her because she sounded like a nice sister.
Wait, no.
Yeah, just play the audio.
Which one do you want to play? Because we had the one from Idris and we had the other one.
The one from the sister. The one from the sister.
I think it's this
she was
one.
innocent, so we'll start with her.
I don't like those videos.
She's so low. Hold on.
Fitrah that is on YouTube because
Let me try to turn her up.
The person that is over the videos is an ex.
All right, let's.
I don't like those videos. Return to Fitrah that is on YouTube because the person that is over the videos is an ex community member, and
That's who we are.
he always speaks about our Sheikh Rahmatullahi and the community in a very derogatory way. So I'm not even sure if you, perhaps you did not see the video in its fullness, but just be careful about those videos because they are against our community.
Okay. MashaAllah.
So yeah, just be very careful.
So she's
warning Jaffer about Jaffer. Yes. She was like, yo, listen, I don't know if you know this or not, but like there's this man who's like against the Jamaat. He's like enemy number one. And like you should be careful of the videos you post. Like he's like the enemy. Like yeah, that's me.
Like it's like you figure like I'm this big bag boogeyman, right? So it's like calling Donald Trump up, like, yo, this guy Donald Trump, he's pretty bad. You're actually talking to Donald Trump.
I heard he done
so and so. I will give her an A+ for what appears to be genuine concern for you, Jaffer, that you should be that you should be worried about Jaffer and his dangerous rhetoric and his attacks on the community. I mean, she really seemed like she wanted to give you some sincere advice about being careful about propagating your work. So I mean, we'll give her that. I mean,
we'll give her that. Definitely. And she seemed nice. And after I let her know it was me, she wasn't combative or anything. She just gave me like a thumbs down emoji, and then that was it. So alhamdulillah.
And block you. Look at that.
But the funniest, there was another person who contacted me. because I had two numbers in there. So no, I was still in the room even after I got kicked out. I was still in there. So another person contacted me. I was like, I hate you or something like that. It's like, okay, you hate me. Alhamdulillah. But the funniest one was this guy named Idris Nasir. I don't know if you guys know him. I have no idea who he is. Idris Nasir. So he actually calls me on my phone. He calls me and he starts like just going off on a rant, right? I can't even say a word. He's going off. Who are you? Asking questions, but not letting me answer. Mm-hmm. And finally I get Assalamu alaikum in. And he just sits there. I was like, you're not going to return my salams? He's like, no, because I don't consider you a Muslim. I was like, okay, why am I not a Muslim? Right. And he says, because you've been speaking, you've been saying bad stuff about my sheikh. So the qualification for Muslim is if you can speak good about their sheikh. You know what I mean? Wow. So he goes off on a tangent. I couldn't get a word in, or I had to actually got distracted, had to get off the phone with him. So I called him back and was asking him questions. He basically starts threatening me. Something's going to happen to you. You better ask about me. I'm going to see you where you at. You better act like he's going to basically come see me and do something to me. So I'm like, okay, you could do that. You better ask about me. I'm Idris Nasir. Well, first he wouldn't give me his name. I was like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. You don't need to know who I am. Why do you know? I was like, because I need to know who I'm talking to.
Like,
why are you afraid? Yeah, I just called him a coward. I was like, well, you're a coward. How am I a coward? I was like, because you're afraid to even give me your name. Then, that touched on his ego, and I'm Idris Nasir. You better ask about me. Well, okay.
I'm going to these streets, in these TMO streets, but I'm him. Right? I was the original Lamb Boys.
Well, so, if you ask me about him, I don't know who he is
at all. I don't either.
I'm at least one person. Don't ask me, I guess.
I don't know who you are either. I just know that you're hilarious.
Yeah, it was. And then, so he threatens me. He's going to see me. What's coming to me? I'm going to get what's coming to me soon. All the same stuff that these guys usually threaten with, these vague things. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not worried about your empty threats. You're not going to do anything. Yeah. You're not doing anything. Then after that, he must have thought about it for a second. And then he sends me this message on WhatsApp.
All right. So this message is so funny. All right, here we go. Bismillah.
And understand something. I did not threaten you. I don't have any reason to threaten you. You're nobody. You don't even show up on the Richter scale of somebody that we would waste time with or that I would waste time with. Understand that.
It's like, dude.
You spend your life slandering Ahlul Bayt. Do you understand what you're doing to yourself? Do you know what kind of place you're putting yourself in? All the fitna that you cause, all you slander Ahlul Bayt. Even if you didn't want to be part of the Jama'at or you didn't like something that was done to you, live your life, man. Go live your life. Do whatever you want to do. Your life is worth it. You spend your life trying to tear down something that a beautiful, pious individual that Allah sent built. You'll know the fruit by the tree by the fruit that it bears. This is a Jama'at full of qadis and doctors and lawyers and hafiz and people that go to Azhar.
Full of them. Yes. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit.
Wait, I gotta get a prop. I just remembered I had this prop. I gotta get something.
All right, Jaffa. Oh my God. All right, Jaffa's gone. We're gonna play through the whole audio.
A beautiful, pious individual that Allah sent built. You'll know the fruit by the tree by the fruit that it bears. This is a Jama'at full of qadis and doctors and lawyers and hafiz and people that go to Azhar and to all the madrasas all over the world and become educated in Islam. But you actually think you can put that light out. You actually think you can put that light out. The people, we feed people, we distribute money, we take care of people all over the world. But to you,
dates and cream cheese.
That's something to slander and to find fault with.
How dare you?
You're sick, man.
You're sick.
You got to be sick just to spend your entire life trying to find something wrong with somebody else. Instead of just going, if you don't want to do it, Jama'at, Go live your own life. Start a new Jamaat.
Start a new Jamaat.
Go educate yourself instead of trying to
start a new Jamaat.
Disaffected Jamaat members. Half of them never even was around or participated and never even met Shahzad.
That's true.
And you try to convince people.
No, I actually met him.
That, man. You're a clown.
I met him. I wasn't impressed.
This was
I met him also, but
Shahzad never brought anything but love to people.
Nothing but love.
And we didn't even know Islam until we got
Didn't even know Islam.
You understand? But not you. No, you waste your whole life. You'll see. You'll see in the end.
That nigga's voice was getting hoarse at the end of that, bro. He was so hot.
I mean, the thing is, he seems to really believe what he's saying. He sounds like he believes it.
Wholeheartedly.
But he's severely misguided, misunderstood. I mean, I don't know if this was the plan for the show today, but we could just if we even ran through this, I mean, it is full. And I don't know who this is. I believe someone was saying this is someone's dad or whatever. I'm not even trying to. I don't even want to come at him in a disrespectful way, but in the most respectful way possible that you can say that everything someone said was a lie. Please accept that from me. But everything he said was a lie. I'm sorry. Nothing that he said was true. I will give him credit for one statement that he did say that people from TMOA do go to Azhar. If you mean like they go to Egypt they physically enter the university. Are they enrolled in a university? I don't know. And there's a college, and then there is some lower level that you have to get into and complete before you can get into the university. Now, do TMOA people go to the university, Azhar, the actual university? I don't know that there's very many. Now, I know a lot of people that do try to go over there. Some people just go over there and just hang out. They go over there and be like, yeah, I'm going to Azhar. They're just hanging out. Chilling. Besides that statement, brother, every single thing that you said in that statement was not true. And if you believe it, well, that's what we're here for, to educate the people on the lies that are being told. So on top of that, very, very.
There you go. Yeah.
Why do you need to go to Azhar if you have had IQOU or whatever for the last, 40 years? You've had the international Quranic Open University, and you've had it running and operating. He's called the vice chancellor of the International Quranic Open University for 40 years. What do you need Azhar for? You have the Mujaddid of the century. Why aren't people from Azhar finishing at Azhar and then coming to study at the feet of the Mujaddid of the century? No one's studying at his feet. I mean, the only thing that they're doing, maybe, I'm not even going to go there. I won't brag about that. But they're not.
Well, I do have the actual, because he mentioned doctors and lawyers. So I do have the actual doctorate degree program from IQOU. And I'm happy to say that both my sons have graduated. Career.
Wait. That
so
right,
it has a stethoscope. That has an apron.
That right there is exactly what K2 studied, right, for his 8 years to become a doctor at IQOU. He got the stethoscope from that. It was a freaking a doctor gift from Sheikh Gilani when he finished. All right, then read instructions one time.
There is more that you can get more of an education from that box than you can from IQOU. There's nothing. There's no. I mean, there is. We've been over it. There's nothing in IQOU. There's no faculty. There's no. It's
just another TMOA lie. Another lie upon a lie.
Put it this way: if someone can ask any hater, just think about this. How do you enroll in IQOU? How do you enroll? Like, who do you talk to? You can't even enroll in the university. Like, there's no like, okay, call so and so. I guarantee you, if you call KT right now and be like, yo, I want to sign up for IQOU, he's gonna be like, quit playing. Like, he's gonna think you're a joke. Because no one has ever actually done it. No one has ever actually like, yo, I want to enroll. Everyone allegedly in it knows they never enrolled. Ask them, when did you enroll? When was your first class at IOU? Oh, well, Grand Gorge Kill. That's a lie. It wasn't. I mean, you're just gonna just make up some random joke. Well, I went to a retreat. All right. Well, then guess what? If that's the case, you can just basically say just time at different TMOA events. All right. I am a scholar from IQOU then because I was in TMOA for 30 plus years. Yep. I'm legit. I got my PhD from there. If you got educated there, so did I. So we got the same education. Plus, I did education outside of IQOU. So if you're a graduate, you can claim to have been educated. Yeah, me too. All right. Well, you want to claim that my education is that doesn't count. We need to go.
It's funny because my brother Abdul Kawi at one of the retreats won best all around, top soldier. So he's magna cum laude.
Magna cum laude and valedictorian.
I won best all around at one of the retreats. Magna cum laude, IQOU. So like
honor somebody, Jaffer and Kawi, bro. Not gonna get better than that, okay? Like
because in his audio, he said people who had probably never even been in a Jamaat and just nobody's or whatever. No. I was in the Jamaat. I was an administrator in the Jamaat. So I mean, you can't claim that we're just nobody. We actually in TMOA we were somebody, and outside of TMOA we're coming back to bust up your somebodies who actually are nobody. We're not going to claim that we're somebody, but when we were in TMOA, we were somebody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even play that game with us.
Ironically, in the code, we were like a higher level than you are, a random person in Jamaat. Like,
well, that's interesting. Because I was about to say, like, I'm pretty sure if we did like a survey and said how many people know James Griffin or Jaffer Griffin from New York, I never heard of Idris Nasir. I never heard of him. I'm pretty sure some people know him, but you're nobody in the Jamaat, and you're trying to defend the Jamaat. Your sheikh, who's this great, wonderful person that you love, whatever, actually gave me the responsibility to translate and transcribe and edit and produce his lectures, not you. So like, I'm actually an authority over you in your own beliefs, right? So you actually should listen. But the whole thing, this idea of like this is where the cult mentality comes in, because they get these narratives like, you have no life. You spend your whole life just like, imagine if we really spent our whole lives just dedicated to debunking TMOA. There'd be like 30 videos released a day, right? One, our wives and our children would have been left us. Like, we would have no way to support ourselves or live or whatever, you know what I mean? Or travel or all these different things. Like, this idea of that people are just spending their whole lives. No, it literally takes us about 5 to 10 minutes to work up a complete rebuttal of everything that TMOA. It takes us longer to like search for the specific ayats and hadiths than it does to even present this stuff, because it's so basic Islam that we don't need to spend our whole lives dealing with this stuff. It's just complete falsehood. A
lot of the like pre-work for the show happens the day of the show, like hours before. So if we it's like literally I'm messaging Jaffer and Mubarak at 6:30 and the show's in like 2 hours. It's like, okay, well, let's get this ready to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes like today, if you would have seen my kids, it was like NASCAR. I was like, yo, finished making Maghrib, nothing was set up. I was like, yo, go grab this light up against the wall. Put my back against the wall so nobody walks like whatever. And I had a bunch of little kids just throwing stuff together, whatever. I threw on a stove and it's so, I mean, no, we're not. I mean, literally. I mean, we enjoy it, but are we spending our whole lives in hours doing it? No, it probably is 1% of the time we spend doing other things. But it's just, but for you guys, it literally is like, it feels like just this big attack. Like it doesn't take much to launch an attack, or what you call an attack, but it doesn't take much to launch a refutation against what you're doing. You guys open your mouths and like the content just flows out. Like, we don't even need to move on to anything. We could just deal with this brother's audio. We could go through it point by point, and it's full of lies. Honestly, I don't even want to disrespect him. If he would just listen for 1 second, we could go through everything he said and prove to him that it's a lie. And he would not be, and even, I probably shouldn't even say lie. He's been lied to. That's the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Been lying. So he's believing something that actually is like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. You were told growing up that Santa Claus was real. And if you were good, he was going to bring you presents. And if you were bad, he's going to put coal in your stocking. He knows when you're naughty and nice, and all these things. We're just here to tell you Santa ain't real, and neither is anything that Jelani was saying he was, or these fables, this list of fables that you presented about what IQOU does. What people do you feed? I mean, we got people in the Jamaat that can't get fed. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. People in the Jamaat who couldn't get fed. So you're feeding people around the world before your own people? Shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Exactly.
If you are doing that, shame on you. That's
You
against
have
the system.
you have Khalifa's wives going to food pantries that are run by Christians and non-Muslims or whatever, because they can't get enough food, even though they're already on public assistance, but they can't get enough food to feed their families. But they can't go to TMOA and get help. And what's really sad, like in our area in New York, where if the headquarters of TMOA, right, where you would think like it's headquarters, like all the facilities, all the services should be at least represented at the headquarters of your organization, right? There's people in TMOA that they have gone to TMOA and say, hey, my lights are about to be cut off. Can I get a couple $100s to pay my electric bill? No, we don't got that.
CVs though, we got that.
And you know where they go? They go to the local masjid that they don't even pray in, that they don't join in their Eids, that they say are lesser Muslims or non-Muslims and all these different things. And they go and ask them for money. And it's actually embarrassing. Like other African Americans in this area are actually embarrassed because they think all African Americans are from TMOA. So they're actually embarrassed because it's known fact that the TMOA people, especially the sisters, it's always the sisters, go there and pretty much beg them for money for their rent, for their electric bills, for food, to bury their children, all these different things. But then when the Eid comes around, Ramadan comes around, they'll come and eat their food. Then when it's time to pray, they walk away and don't pray. And they know it's not like a hidden thing. They know this. They'll ask questions. Hey, why don't they pray with us? Why don't they participate with us? Why don't, they eat our food. They come and eat all of our curries and all that, but then they leave when it's time to pray. What's going on? And it's embarrassing.
And the thing is that it doesn't matter whether it's in New York, even in Tennessee where I am. The sad thing about it, or one of the saddest things about it, is everybody knows that the TMOA people are jokes and they come around and do these things, except for TMOA doesn't know that everybody knows. So they're doing like weird stuff, not making wudu, praying in their cars, and they're always like, yo, yeah, you run into people say, oh yeah, you used to live in on that land up there with us. So I'm like, yeah, I ain't with them. It's like, wow. Then they start telling you, they're so crazy. They do this and another. And I'm like, they think nobody knows or whatever. Like you're showing up randomly. You don't participate in none of their functions, and you show up with your Islamic post, wanting them to buy it. Or put it
I was just about to talk about that because I mention this every time. Here in Richmond, right, at a Hierarchical Center of Richmond, right, the Masjid al-Falah, people from the Jamaat will literally be there outside the whole time. There's a whole adhan being called 2 times. There's Yuma going on. Folks are walking past them to go to the mosque to pray, and they're just standing there outside. The adhan's called. They follow the adhan and go pray in their car. Like the adhan's called, so you're gonna pray at the same time, just outside in your car. And then after the adhan's and Yuma's over, who's left here? Islamic Post, brother, Islamic Post. The Pakistanis get the Islamic Post, see it, throw it in the trash. Literally right in front of their face. Like it'd be so funny. They see it, trash can. See it, trash can. I don't want this trash.
There's a funny story about, there's this Muslim business owner. I won't say his name because they don't want it to affect his business or whatever, but people from the Jamaat patronize him a lot. And of course, they have the Islamic Post in his store. And he's from, where's the place Gaddafi's from? Is it Libya?
Libya, yeah.
Yeah, Libya. He's from Libya. And he's like a prisoner of war and stuff, right? Like when they had those like civil wars and stuff in Libya. He's from that time. So he knows about war and people dying and all this different stuff. Anyway, so some of the elders went in there. They put the Islamic Post there, and it had an article or something. They started talking about how Sheikh Jelani moved the moon. And it's funny because he's telling the story. He's been in America for years, so he speaks great English. And he's like, he said they're telling the story about how the Sheikh's so great. He moved the moon and this and that. And I'm just getting more and more annoyed about him saying this. So I said, okay, that's a miracle, huh? That's the miracle he performed. So he moved the moon. Then how come he can't move all the people and save them from? He started naming all the countries, the Muslim countries that are at war, and all these people are dying. He started naming them, listing them, and they're just sitting there like, and had no response. And like these things are embarrassing. Like you hear these stories, like because these people open up to you once they find out like you're not a part of it anymore, and you know about it. Then like, okay, so tell me the dude, like what the hell going on up there, right? Yeah. It's crazy.
They know all the they know a lot of the ridiculous details, and respectfully, see, this is the thing. Respectfully, they don't even clown you about it to your face. They just like, kind of like, all right, here comes these weird people, not praying with us, but want to use our services. There's a masjid here in Tennessee that every time someone dies or needs funeral services or whatever, they come and they use their facilities, use their hearse, all, basically free of charge, bury them in a cemetery, all that stuff. But literally, any other time, they're basically, consider them to be lesser than this, that, another. And they actually know it, but they still help them out of the kindness of their hearts, even though they're not like these people. They don't even consider us to be worthy of whatever. But that's the thing. Allah honors certain people above others, and He actually allows these, lesser Muslims or whatever to be getting the reward for helping all these people with their services that they provide to the Muslims at large, while you talk trash about them behind their back, and then when you're in need, because you send all your money somewhere else, you can't even bury your people that pass away. You can't even do anything. You have to come and grovel and beg. Can we use your facility to wash your body? Can we borrow your hearse? And then as soon as you're done with it, drop it off, be done free of charge, and then you go back to talking about how they're out of it. I mean, no, brother. So helping people all over the world, no. People from all over the world actually help TMOA.
You brought up a good point when you mentioned that that how they know these things, but they still help them, which is actually the beauty of like the Muslim Ummah.
Yeah.
Right? That's like the beauty of the Ummah. And then, but when you reverse the situation, TMOA wouldn't do a damn thing for any of them. Not a daggone thing.
I mean, listen, do you think, for instance, if one of us happened to be driving past the land, which, I mean, that would be, I would have been just
one of us die.
You're driving past the land and you get a flat tire.
No
they
service.
know it's you know it's them. I mean, the likelihood that you would be helped, it's like, maybe if it was somebody who was just cool with you or whatever, they really are like, whatever. But as far as, for instance, if like you were driving past the land at a TMOA event or something like that happened, it would be basically like, nobody helped this brother. I don't care if he's got all this kids in the car, hot, whatever the case may be. This is the punishment of Allah. Now, if it was reversed, if somebody was driving past my house, it could be K2 himself. Hell, it could be Jelani himself. If it was Jelani,
you gotta walk on your own, brother. But everyone else, yeah, sure.
That would be very tough, I will say. But I would not. I wouldn't change his tire. I would make him change his tire. I'll be like, yo, get the jack out, jack that joint up. I'll be telling him. He has no idea
how to do that. He has no idea how to do that. I can guarantee you that.
Yo, I will let you borrow my son's bike. You can ride it to the tire shop and pay or whatever. But I'm gonna make you work. Anybody else?
Break the bike.
I would help him out. Only because to me, I would say he would need to be humble. He would need to be humble.
Yeah.
And so he might need to learn that lesson. But in general, if anybody came by my house, came to knock on the door and just was like, man, you ain't nothing, man. I'm tired of you. I want to fight you or whatever. I'd be like, well, if I want to fight, I'm going to defend myself. And I got guns. But if they just said, man, I can't stand you, but I'm hungry, I'll say, come on in, have a seat.
Sure, I'll get you food.
You're about to eat.
Honestly, I might like make the food and then just change their mind. I'm like, yo, this kind of good. Maybe that nigga's was wrong. But like, no, that's kind of an indictment on Jelani, because it's been 40 years and you don't have like a funeral service for the people of the Jamaat. You don't have infrastructure built so that people in the community can actually, you know, live on the lands. Because that was the whole purpose. Like, oh, we're gonna live on the lands in the community, not have to go anywhere. We're gonna be freaking like the Amish, right? Your niggas is not like the Amish at all. You're so far from the Amish.
They drive 2 hours away to go borrow a hearse, to then drive that hearse to wherever the person died at, to then drive 2 hours back to land to bury the person, to then drive the hearse 2 hours back to wherever they got it. Yeah, it's pretty sad. And a hearse, actually, I mean, they could buy one. I mean, they could have some sort of cooperation with some other masajid, but of course GMO is not going to actually cooperate fully. They're just going to take your goods and services, but there won't be any back and forth. Like, there won't be some sort of where the Muslims from the general body of Muslims come to the lands and do some sort of hiking or whatever it is. I mean, it's Lamberg. They can come to this Lamberg and do, all types of outdoor activities or whatever, but they would never think it. They would never do it. I mean, we could go on and on about this. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we can move on.
But it's we're not gonna have time to go through this whole poem. We're not gonna have time to go through the whole Risala Ruhi. I mean, the poem, we could just kind of summarize it, and we could kind of touch on a few points, so people have the idea of what's actually wrong with it. Is that if you look back at our last video, you can listen to the entire poem. And yeah, it's very, you can see the problems with it. Basically, this man was petitioning, making dua to his sheikh, asking to seek forgiveness, seeking his unlimited mercy, asking for him to intercede for him, seeking tawbah of him, calling on him. These are things that are like, complete shirk. You're not allowed to do this as Muslims. You're not allowed to call on the dead. You're not allowed to call on people to intercede for you, and you don't even know their own state. You don't know where he's going. You may be asking someone who's destined to hell to intercede for you. It's not going to happen. This theme just kind of repeats in every single verse that he has, and at some points he even refers to Allah's own presence, Allah's own nur under the feet of Mubarak Jalani.
Kissing your feet.
We're gonna publish this.
Kissing your blessed feet brings forth hidden treasures.
Yeah.
No, not kissing his feet. The latest picture of his feet that we saw, they were bandaged up, and they looked pretty bad. There's no hidden treasures under those feet or on them. I mean, he was very sick, just like I've seen patients like that almost on a daily basis at work, and he's not any different than any other. He's not anything, any spark from Allah's nur or anything like that. How's Allah's nur getting diabetes, has bandaged up feet? How? Just use your logic, use your brain. And so basically kissing your feet brings forth hidden treasure. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, who is going to if he is giving you the indication that is the case. I mean, if you just pulled it, from out of your backside, or you just let me say, if you just made it up, then that's one thing. But if he's giving you this indication that somehow kissing his feet or giving him some sort of touch or feel on his feet, I mean, what else? I mean, he could tell someone to kiss him somewhere else is going to give you some other treasure. I mean, geez, this is like a joke. I don't know why any man would want to say this, but at the very least, you should know that there's no treasure would come from kissing his feet, metaphorically or literally. You should, reserve this type of humility and for Allah only. This type of lowering yourself is for Allah only. That's why you make sujood. You put your face, the most noble part of your body, all the way on the ground for Allah only. Sujood is not allowed. Ruku' is not allowed anyone else except Allah. So this statement is just not befitting. It's not befitting of a person that Allah has honored. Allah has honored mankind with noble qualities and characteristics and put us above the rest of creation. You don't need to lower yourself for another part of creation. We only lower ourselves to grovel for Allah. That's it. So raise yourself up, leave this alone, redirect this energy and this reverence and love for Allah alone, and you'll be in good shape, inshallah.
It's we were talking about it earlier, but it was very interesting to me how he had a what do they call it, a Freudian slip?
Yeah.
Like when Bush was like, we need to, when he made that remark about like oppressors going into Iraq or whatever. He was like, oh wait, I mean, so he had like a Freudian slip, but he mentions in one of the lines like, I have no good deeds, which
I have none. Yeah,
it's a very silly statement to make as a Muslim. Like as Muslims, we should say, I hope you accept our good deeds, because I at least made salat. I at least smiled at somebody. I at least said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu. These are all good deeds, right? However, like if we look at Surah Al-Tawbah, and I believe it's in ayats between the first 26 ayats, because I just actually studied it, is when you actually are involved in committing shirk, all your good deeds are rendered null and void. And the law specifically talks about this in reference to the mushrikeen and the Jews and the Christians. Because like the mushriks, the pagans in Mecca, used to try to boast about their good deeds of hosting the Hajis, giving them food and water when they made pilgrimage, as like, oh, we have all these good deeds. And Allah tells them like, no, while you're committing shirk, your good deeds are nothing. So he actually stated a truth in his own poem without even realizing it. Like, yes, if you are upon this shirk that you're professing, if you're upon this shirk that Mubarak Jalani and TMOA teaches, none of those good deeds, none of those efforts you guys do for Rohingya, Chechnya, whatever other stuff they do for Pakistani, Indian-related relief efforts, none of those things you guys did counts if you're upon this shirk. Allah says it very clearly in Holy Quran. So yes, if you're upon the shirk, of good deeds you have none. And we should really think about that. The next thing, so we only have a few minutes left in the show, but we're gonna post this. And we have support from the Quran and the Hadiths to try to guide people to why this stuff is wrong. The moral of the story is, don't get caught up into, if you're especially still stuck in it, which I'm very disappointed in. At one point, we probably have to have a show to kind of address this, is for all you people that are still stuck in TMOA, there's certain lines you guys can't cross, right? So we know, because we know who these people are. We're not going to say who they are, but we know that you do not believe in TMOA anymore. You do not believe in the falsehood of the teachings of Mubarak Jalani. You are totally off the juice, but you're stuck for whatever reason, whether it is because of a spouse, whether it's because of your living situation, family situation, whatever the situation is, you perceive that you are stuck. I could argue against that, but let's just say you are actually stuck and you're trying to find a way out. That does not give you license to go and participate in these shirk-filled events and sit back and listen to these things, or make your own poems to fit in and all these different things. You have to really be careful about that, because for instance, imagine this individuals like this who spout all this shirk, give a whole khutbah about the 7 sultans and how our sheikh is here with us now and he's a spark from Allah and all these different things, and now they're going up to lead your Eid prayer. Do you really think that Eid prayer is accepted? Allah knows best, but I would be scared. I would be fearful for it. I would be like, okay, I'd be scared.
I would say an option that you do have, and I mean, hey, listen, people do this at work all the time. You know what I mean? You want to take a vacation, but it ain't gonna let you off. You start getting sick close to the time you really want to bounce. You just be like, And actually, I can bring some proof from Quran to back it up. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna tell you because actually, the proof that you can do this and that you should do this. Let me see where it's at. In the meantime, let me just make this one point, then I'm gonna find it so that do this. But I was just looking at some of these Jones, and I know we're gonna shut down here soon. But before we do, we can just do a short lightning round on some of these points. I'm just looking at point number 3, where he says, "Can this imperfect heart, damaged intellect, and tainted soul petition the beloved?" I'm guessing he's saying, can he petition the beloved? I don't know if the beloved is Allah or if the beloved is his sheikh. I don't know. But then it says, yet hope lies in your intercession for those who are near. The Muqarrabun do intercede. Let me tell you, brother, from Surah Sajdah, ayat number 32. I'm sorry, surah number 32, verse number 4. What does Allah say? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش ما لكم من دونه من ولي ولا شفيع أفلا تتذكرون. It is Allah who created the heavens and earth and everything in between them in 6 days, then established himself on the throne. You people have no one but him to protect you, no wali. Malakum min dunihi min waliyin. No wali except for Allah, and no one to intercede for you. So why do you not take heed? Why don't you think? Allah says this in the Quran, and this is the recurring theme. If you're wondering, for the brother Idris or any of those other people, the recurring theme: leave your hate and whatever you think we are aside. We always strive to, if we can bring it directly, what Allah says directly from the words of Allah. Allah says in this, the Arabic says, so you know what the words of Allah says. Malakum, not for you. You don't have min dunihi besides him. You don't have anyone besides him. Waliyin wala shafi'. No one can intercede for you, and no one is a helper or partner for him. And there's no one to intercede for you besides Allah. Allah is the one who intercedes. Basically, Allah will, intercede for you on your behalf, but you have to ask for that, and you have to actually make the cut to even get it. Shirk will not allow. Allah is not going to intercede for you on that behalf. But Allah is saying this. So turn towards Allah. You don't need to find some dusty sheikh somewhere to pour yourself over. Pour yourself into and towards Allah. Cry out towards Allah. Allah is saying He's the one. He's the wali. He's the shafi'. So turn to Him. Leave this other stuff behind. You actually don't need it. Not only who's a better friend than Allah to have, who's a better intercessor than Allah to have. Allah is saying He's the one. Seek His intercession, seek His friendship, and you don't need anything.
Look at how, it reminds me of the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which you started off the show with, and we all know the story about him being put in a catapult and thrown in the fire. And before he was thrown in the fire, who came to him? Angel Jibrail and I think some other angels, and said, we could Allah sent us, we could save you. And what did he say? Does Allah know my condition? They're like, yeah. He was like, I'm good then. Allah knows. So we all know this story about Ibrahim, and you have Ibrahim alayhi salam, who's one of the best examples, denying the intercession or the help or of an angel. And you guys are at forget all that. Forget Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Forget the angels. Forget the Sahabas and all these people that have been confirmed by the Holy Quran and Hadith as being very special people. You guys throw your sheikh in there, as you want him to be your middleman or your intercessor, your helper, your savior. I mean, it all reminds me of the whole idea of this whole Christian thing, Jesus came to save our sins, and we got to go to the priest to ask him to make prayer for us and all these. It's the same. All the time it's the same trick that Shaitan keeps pulling on mankind over and over and over and over again. Same theme, just a different little twist and nuance, and then we fall for it. May Allah protect us.
So what I was saying is,
let
me just say this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut it down. So when I was telling you guys that these Shirk festivals or whatever it is that TMOA is doing, if you're stuck in TMOA and you know that, okay, this is Shirk, but I'm stuck. All right, I'm married to so and so. I'm married to sister so and so. She's gonna get crazy. Or I'm married to brother so and so. He's gonna try to take my kids, whatever the case may be. Listen to what Ibrahim alayhi salam said. It's surah number 37 of Safat, ayah number 80, 86. Okay, 86 from when? This is just a few ayahs. I'll be quick. In which it's talking about how, or 80. Let's go from 84. Or 83. Sorry. Okay. In the min shi'atihi la Ibrahim. Ibrahim was a man of faith. وَإِذْ جَاءَ رَبُّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. He came to his Lord with a devoted heart. I'm just going to read the English. He said to his father and his people, what are you worshiping? Basically, he questioned what they were worshiping. Okay? And he's telling them, if can alihatan dun Allahi turidun, how can you choose false gods instead of Allah? So what is your opinion about the Lord of all the worlds, about Allah? Then he looked at the stars. فَنَظَرَةً فِي النُّجُومِ. He looked at the stars. Basically, he was talking with them. He became so like, basically just like, literally it was like talking to a brick wall. And so he's just looking at the stars like, man, you know? And the tafsir says that they invited him to one of their Shirk festivals. They were going. You know what he said? فَقَالَ إِنِّي سَقِيمٌ. He said, I'm sick. I'm sick. And then they bounced and went. And what he did basically after that was when they went to that festival, he busted up all of their idols, put the axe on the big one. But the point is, he told him he was sick. And the tafsir talks about that he literally, he wasn't physically sick. He didn't have an illness, but they said he didn't lie because he said he was sick of their shirk. And you should be sick of their shirk, so you can tell them, do you want to go to this next milad where we're gonna literally we're gonna make a new salat for our sheikh, and it's the first one of its kind, and you can say, man, actually I'm sick. I'm sick, I won't be able to attend. I'm already just feeling, and you're sick of their shirk. So you can use this excuse, and you should use this excuse because it's actually following the footsteps of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So when you are confronted with shirk, just tell them you're sick and don't participate. If you do, then you will be responsible for those actions. I'm gonna stop. Okay.
No, that's a good. Alhamdulillah, that's a good reminder. It's every answer we need is found in the Quran and Sunnah. Every situation that we're in, we don't have to there's guidance out there if you just look for it instead of just winging it. So the last thing I'll mention, because we're not going to do a whole nother show on this, we talked about the Risala Ruhi and the seven sultan concept, how it's complete shirk. We have a link to the book that we put out on our website. You can go to it. It's R2, was it R.org? R2 Fitrah.
I'll post it.
Yeah, you post in the chat. Just some summary of the book. There's in this book allegedly written by Sultan Bahu. We found 35 instances of complete obvious shirk. Complete shirk. And I forget how many instances of deviations from the Quran and the Sunnah, and just other just straight up contradictions, logical contradictions in the text. For those TMOA members that don't know where your beliefs come from, this is where your whole basis of who Mubarak Jilani says he is or was, and the whole TMOA belief set is in this book, right in this book. Right, it talks about, like you guys sing these songs about the 7 sparks of Noor, and Allah went around it 7 times, and fireworks came out, and these are the 7 sultan. This is all in this book. This is the same book where Sultan Bahu says it's okay to call him and these other sultans Allah, where he says that he's the same as Allah, where he says that this book is actual revelation, and the list goes on and on and on. Just, you can Google it yourself. You could find the same exact books that your Mubarak Jilani read from and took from and stole from to teach this idea. You could find the other groups that actually claim to have the 6th Sultan before Mubarak Jilani, the same group that Mubarak Jilani actually went and sat with and learned from and then stole the idea from, and then came to America and preached it to the Dar al-Islam people. And misguided, it's a big con, it's a big scam, it's full of falsehood. You can find it yourself. Just go on Google, Risala Ruhi PDF, and you'll find it.
Okay, Jafar, please. I know I said I was done, but I'm
No,
just.
go ahead.
Can I have like literally just give me 5 minutes? I'm
I
gonna
can
just do
give you
a
as
light
much time as you
round.
want. Go ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, seriously.
Shoot
I
the
mean,
shot,
I'm just
King.
looking. I'm looking at these. I mean, this is just like this makes your skin crawl. Okay, I'm just gonna do a lightning round. Okay, and we're gonna need to post a document that has this poem with the rebuttals or whatever, so that people need to see this. But
Yeah.
in short, I'm not gonna go through them, read all the eyes or whatever, but I'm just gonna tell you exactly what it is. That way, you can't say you didn't know. You need to go back and research this now that after we tell you, and I'm gonna run through everything. So I'm putting number 4. He says, unanswered dua is mine. That's a lie. Allah says in Quran in Surah Baqarah, He says, Allah answers the dua to every caller, even the non-Muslim, even when they ask about He's near. He answers every dua. This is a lie on Allah. It's shirk. It's kufr. The brother who read this poem, he should take us to Islam again for this statement alone. Unanswered dua is mine. This is a lie. Allah says He answers every dua if you call on Him. You're calling on your sheikh. And that's why your dua is not answered. You're calling on a person who can't help you. He's dead. And even if he's alive, he couldn't do anything for you. Okay, let's go to point number 5. He said that what gifts can a slave offer, Sultan, knowing full well that his gifts are worthless? Selflessly slaves. You're only a slave to Allah. You're claiming to be slave to someone else. That is shirk. Okay, re-enter Islam. Priceless treasures beyond measure. I mean, Allah is the وَلِلَّهِ خَزَائِنُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ. Allah says in Surah Munafiqun that Allah has all the treasures of the heavens and earth, and only the munafiqeen are the ones who don't know that. So I'm just telling you what Allah says. So if you don't know that, you fit into that category, re-enter Islam, brother. Okay, number 6, seeking your good pleasure. You're seeking the good pleasure of who? If you're seeking the good pleasure of someone who can't do anything for you in akhirah, then that is a mistake. Insincere lips, cries of tawbah. You can't do tawbah, cries of tawbah to another person. Tawbah is to Allah. You make tawbah to Allah. Your cries of tawbah are falling on deaf ears. And if you're crying tawbah for Jilani to forgive you for some sins that you committed, unless you committed against him, but that's not what you're saying, then this is shirk. You should be asking Allah for forgiveness. Re-enter Islam, brother. Immeasurable is your mercy. This is only for Allah. Allah is the one who, the Fatiha, Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. The intensely merciful, the extremely merciful. This is only for Allah. You gave the attributes of Allah to someone else. Re-enter Islam, brother. Okay, we can go down to the next point. I'm just running through these really quickly. Never have I the sweetness of Iman. Okay, divine Noor felt until graced by your Tawajjah, favored by your lufty glance. Now, basically, this lufty glance or whatever they're talking about, the sheikh that looks at you or whatever you want the sheikh to look at you. Where did this even come from? He's a human being, but even in Quran it says, لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله. We only feed you for the face of Allah. And this is in sort of the Insan when Allah talks about how the family of Ali radiallahu anhu, Fatima, and they had just a little bit of food left, and they gave the food they have only desiring the face of Allah. They basically wanted Allah's good pleasure and favor. This is who you should be trying to get this glance from, Allah, not some man, some random person, random Indian dude that you showed up that you really barely know. This is only for Allah. Re-enter Islam, brother. Next, I beg, yeah, Sultan. You're begging. This sounds like a dua. What he says, therefore turn to me once again in all humility. This is for Allah. You humble yourself for Allah. This is point number 8, by the way. I beg, ya Sultan, worthy gifts I have none except this sick heart, this stubborn head. Please do. So he's begging the Sultan, which we already explained to you that the 7 sultans is pure shirk, and he's referring to him as the sultan. This is a reference to a shirk belief. We broke it down completely. We will provide the documentation, but if he believes this takes you outside of Islam. He should re-enter Islam, and he's begging someone on top of that to actually turn his heart. And Rasulullah says that Allah is the one who turns the heart. Allah is and there's a dua that you say, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. That you, the one who turns the hearts, make my heart firm upon your deen, your religion. This is the sunnah. This is the hadith of Rasulullah. This is the exact opposite. You're calling on a man who has no ability to help you to do something that only Allah is the one who turns the hearts. This is shirk, and so you should re-enter Islam, brother. Master of mine, you are. What is the ayah in Surah Al-Fatiha? Maliki Yawmiddin. Allah is the master of their judgment. Yet he's saying this guy is the master of his. Allah is the master. Allah is Malik. So every single line is filled with shirk. Every single one without question. The whole thing is stuff that should be directed to only Allah. At your feet, he's back at his feet again. I to petition the beloved, number 10. I to petition the beloved until I call on you. Madad ya Abu. This is what he said. This is the most clear cut for any person who doesn't understand some of these things why they're shirk. This one you can't get around. Yep. He says, I are to petition the beloved until I call on you. He said, Madad ya Abu. Number one, he's talking about Jilani. Jilani is dead, for sure. I mean, everybody knows he's dead. He called on him. Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Dua is ibadah. Doing ibadah to someone other than Allah is shirk. Called on the dead. This is what you cannot do. And he says, I called on you, Madad, help me. That's what it means. Madad, it means to help me, Ya Abu. He could so easily have said, Ya Allah, Allahumma. Why? I mean, Allah is the one who, is he better, more suitable, more capable to help you more than Allah? I mean, this is a Christian concept to think you have to go through someone else for Allah to hear your dua and help you. Allah said you can call on him directly. You don't need to do this. And by you doing this, it's pure shirk. Anyone who does it, they need to re-enter Islam. Whoever wrote this poem should re-enter Islam. Whoever said this poem should re-enter Islam. That's point number 10. Number 11, okay, we did, this is again where he seeks the shafa'ah, intercession of Jilani. We already said Allah is the Shafir, and he is the one who can intercede. Number 12, and I know people are going to say, well, there are intercessors in the martyrs and the shuhada and the hufaz and all that thing. That is an issue still. Allah is the one who determines who can intercede or not, and we don't have time to get maybe another time. Many number 12, many are the times that I felt your presence. So listen to what he's saying. He's saying basically he called, not on the phone, that he's calling on him while he's not there. This is shirk. You can't do it. You can't call on someone who's not present. And he says he felt his presence. The jinns love when you commit shirk. This is their job. They try to get you to shirk. And so if a jinn is just wandering around and hears you hollering for somebody who ain't there, yeah, they can make you feel some sort of presence if they want to. I mean, this is pure shirk. And if you did feel someone's presence show up, it probably was a jinn, because he already says he works with jinn. And on top of that, even if he did show up, it's still shirk, and you should re-enter and renew your faith for doing this. It's shirk. I need your intercession. Yeah, we already went over the intercession. Without your help, forgiveness. Jilani cannot forgive you for your sin. Only Allah can do that. Your intercession, and wayward son. I think Jafar covered the calling him his son part in the last one. And
he loves this dude's feet.
He loved this dude's feet.
Yeah, we should just did a lightning round for the first episode, just like that. Mubarak, just run through it real quick. Yeah. That was the best way to do it.
Yeah. He said it's been the last days of mine. It's been last days of mine clinging tight to your best feet. You would want to spend your last days clinging tightly to a person's feet. Have you seen his feet? Number one. But number two, I mean, this thought, cling tightly to doing some ibadah, worshiping Allah. You're basically, this is a metaphor, or this can be understood that he is thinking that if he attaches himself to this person, it will get him to Jannah. And it's already very, very clear that from Rasulullah already made it very clear. No one knows nobody knows whether they will go to Jannah or not. That's why some of these people that say, when my husband dies, I'm not going to remarry because I'm going to be married to the Jannah. You don't know whether you're going to make it or your husband.
Mm-hmm.
So that's foolishness. If you get a good opportunity, you should take it, because I guarantee you, some of these ladies that are waiting around.
Is it a feat that you want to hold on tight to, brother?
Yo, someone made a comment about having to get through the bandages first.
Yeah,
but I mean, the thing is, pictures like this make me feel generally sad for this individual, because he's obviously not in a healthy state. But we have to show stuff like this, and it's not to just like rag on Mubarak Jelani and all this. It's because you guys really think that he's some kind of pious Sufi saint. And one of the main things about Sufism is like you control your nafs, right? Eat less, sleep less, speak less. This is an obvious visual aid to show what it is to not control your nafs, right? If a regular Muslim whatever gets overweight and has all the health issues that come with being overweight and not eating healthy and not controlling your nafs, it's not a big deal, whatever, right? I mean, but if you're putting someone up on a pedestal, it's like he's the example for all of mankind
to follow. Yeah,
is this how you want to look at this age? I know I don't. May Allah protect us all from these ailments.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for you to be saying that you're a master, I mean, he I think a wise man once said it.
But look, it's like they got a hospital bed in his bedroom.
Yeah, right over here.
You can see it right there in the background. It's hospital
on the right
bed.
side. Yep, and then he's
right?
like this. He can't even sit properly in the chair.
He has breathing problems. It's very clear. He actually has to be that way. They call it the tripod position. Everybody who's been to medical, I know K2 had the stethoscope, so he might know this as well. But when you go to medical, when you do some medical training, this position that he's sitting, he's kind of tripoding, and they have to sit in this position because they can't breathe well in any other position. So that position where he's kind of leaning forward, he's kind of in a tripod. You see his arms are kind of short and stubby, but so this position where he's in kind of, that's kind of in a tripod position. He has to sit like that because he probably has severe breathing issues. He probably was on oxygen. I'm sure he probably had to have some during this time. I mean, the bandages. I mean, they're literally a actual doctor could probably just look at him and tell you 100 different things that he's struggling with. Even in this picture, he died shortly thereafter, and it's not about him dying or whatever the case may be. But like someone said, he said he can control the jinns, and they found that hard to believe because he had trouble controlling his weight. So how can he control the jinns? But
I wonder who said that.
I wasn't gonna put you all.
Oh yeah, that's that's a very important thing to mention, right? Is because if this person is your guide, right, and you guys mentioned this, is this how you want to end up, right? But he, for so long of his life, you can see that his nafs were out of control, right? Men generally either get destroyed by gluttony or lust, right? He was getting destroyed by both. He was getting destroyed by both on a consistent basis. That's why he, even in his advanced age, he was still trying to find young wives, right? So his lust is out of control. Generally, as you get older, that's supposed to you're supposed to get out of that and go more to just like Islam and not being about having kids and stuff because you're old, right? You're not gonna be able to provide the support for them as a father, right? And being a part of your kid's life is so important, right? And whenever we get to the emasculation of the men, one of the episodes we have coming up, he's one of the reasons why it's so prevalent in the Jamaat. He is the reason, right? And he is constantly emasculating you at every point in time. In this photo, there are men who would see that photo and say that is a healthy man. Our sheikh is full of ibadah, and the sins he has aren't from eating, is from anything else. He's only fat. K2 said.
Well, they tried to blame it on. us.
K2 said, and I quote this man. K2 said, "You think Jelani's overweight? Nah, he's only overweight because he gets pounds added for every sin you do, right? So the sins you guys do is the reason why he's overweight. And it's like, no, I don't claim to be the most Islamically inclined scholar, right? But I have never heard of a story from any of the Sirah, the lives of the Sahaba, or of the pious people after them, where a person was gaining weight because of sins of someone else. That is the absolute.
Imagine Musa alayhi salam.
Yeah. Like, no.
I mean, he would have been, I mean, like hundreds of tons. I mean, literally, I would be, I mean, listen, no, none of us are anything. I mean, if he just had to carry my sin, he would be, you know, well over 1,000 pounds. Or I mean, actually, I mean, who knows? Allah knows best. If he's just carrying for just me, so I'm not trying to put myself on any sort of pedestal. He would. I mean, the country of Pakistan would be his size. His size would be that big. Not to mention some of the other people.
And you know what the rebuttal is? The rebuttal to this is the natural thing. What people in TMOA would do is try to find fault with like us, right? Or you did this, or you do that, or whatever, which is fine. You're gonna find fault with us, right? Because we admittedly are sinners, right? None of us are claiming to be part of Allah. None of us are claiming to be perfect. We're not claiming to be mujaddids of the centuries. We're not claiming to be pious, holy saints, Sufi saints. None of us are claiming that. So that argument actually doesn't work against us. All those arguments work against your sheikh, Mubarak Jilani. They work against your new sheikh, his widow, and they work against your other new sheikh or sultan, her son or his son, Noor. It works against all those people and all the leaders that y'all put in place because y'all ascribe perfection to them. So any mistake that they make is fair game for us to bring up. Any fault they have is fair game to bring up, because every time we bring something out like this up, it wakes another person up. Just real quick for a few minutes, I'm going to just go through some of the first instances in Risala Ruhi of clear shirk, just so people have an idea of what's in it. So if you go down to point number 9, and if when you get this document, you can just type in the word shirk and find all the instances. So if you read that first line in Risala Ruhi, he says, O Talib, if you lift the veil of your ego from your eyes, you will observe that everything is singularity. In reality, there's only one entity which actually exists, and all the duality of things, the world of variety of multiplicity, is only due to your squint eyes. So people that don't have good reading comprehension, you're going to read this book and be like, what the heck is he talking about, right? So that's why we put it in layman's terms. Basically, what this line is saying, that everything is Allah. You are Allah, the bathroom's Allah, the trees are Allah, the sky's Allah, everything is Allah. And if you think that that everything is not Allah, if you think there's more things in existence besides Allah, then it's only because you lack understanding, which is complete shirk. Allah says there's only one Allah. Allah clearly says that he created creation. Next, in point 14, he writes, honored with the eye of the real deity, i.e. the witness being, and being swung in the cradle of divine pride, I am pure and my splendor is great. Pretty much he's saying that he is honored with the vision of the version of Allah that can be seen, that can be witnessed. So right here, we're getting into the whole Christian Trinity thing. Like there's different versions of Allah. There's a version of Allah that can't be seen, and there's a version of Allah that can be seen. This is clear shirk. In point 17, he says, wearing the crown of the mystic intuitive knowledge of God and the absolute unity at a place of extreme respect, rolling the robe of purgation and purification under my armpit. Is bottom of feet, is feet or armpit? What's worse, feet or armpit? I don't know.
Feet. Definitely feet. Definitely feet. Especially if it's Jelani's feet, definitely feet.
It is at the level of anta ana wa ana anta. You are me and I am you. So pretty much he says he has this intuitive knowledge of Allah, and that he has reached a level where Allah told him, I am you.
That's
and
Buddhism.
you are me.
Yeah. That's 100% Buddhism. That's like enlightenment, right? And as you like leave yourself and leave behind your worldly possessions, right? You get closer to God, and then you reach nirvana and you become enlightened, and then you can go to God. Like this is actually I read about this in the Journey to the West. It's just like ancient proverb from China about this man's journey to India. And as he's going on this entire journey, he has these trials and tribulations that he all leaves behind. And then when he reaches India, right, he becomes enlightened and he's able to go and see God. And then God sends him on a mission to go and teach the people of China about Buddhism. And
oh my goodness!
So, yeah,
see, it's all the same bullcrap.
It's all India. Like, okay, listen. Respectfully, there are a lot of good Pakistani and Indian brothers out there who are Muslims. Alhamdulillah. All right, I'm not talking about you, but damn near majority of y'all niggas, y'all on Shirk. All right, because your beliefs are intertwined with the previous beliefs of your forefathers, right? Your forefathers, like the Indians have 7, 8, 10, 15 gods. They have gods with 25 arms. They have they believe cows are gods. Like, so you guys aren't that far removed from that, right? And I'm not gonna rag on Sufis, but I will give someone $1 for every Sufi that is good. All right, just there's not from what I've seen, y'all all try to outdo each other by just saying the most outlandish stuff you can. Like one person says one thing, and to outdo that person, you go say another thing, double down, right? It's the same thing with that Shirk poem, right? Listen, that Shirk poem is terrible, right? I guarantee you someone has something working on right now, someone who's intelligent, right? Because that person who wrote that poem, very intelligent. You can see, right? They crafted that poem eloquently, right? Very intelligent person. Someone right now is working on the next time that we have a Jamaat event, I'm gonna outdo him.
Yep.
So that's kind of it's a it's like crabs in a barrel, but instead you guys are just inside of a ravine. You just gonna stay there forever. Oh, this is great. We love being here. That is never okay. And don't be stuck in this mindset that this is okay. This is okay. It's not. There's one example of people, and we mentioned this. If you're stuck in the Jamaat, there's no such thing, right? Mubarak mentions this all the time. He cut everybody off. When Mubarak left the Jamaat, a clean break. When Jafar was kicked out of the Jamaat and they forced him to get divorced and stuff. Listen, if you're scared of the Jamaat, do not be scared of the Jamaat. Jafar literally is next door to them. These niggas, listen, low key, they love Jafar for speaking out because they want to, but they just can't. So if you put your trust in the law, you'll be fine. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. All right. I'm we're not the least bit worried about that. Never should you be. Just leave. I promise you, it'll be okay. Actually, you start doing better. I guarantee you. I can guarantee you do better because everyone that leaves the Jamaat, that's better. It's like, wow, mashallah. That's why when you leave the Jamaat, right, or disobey Jelani, for example, when people go to college, this is frowned upon in the Jamaat. Not supposed to go to school. When you go to school and you graduate, guess who's there for you? The Jamaat. Please come back, brother. Please come back, sister. We need you. So it shows you if you're part of this community, you know about it. It happens all the time. Just leave. You'll be fine. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So I think we had a couple questions in the chat. We can answer those real quick and I could close out before it gets to 11. One question I see is Sheikh Jelani mentioned in the Holy Quran? Absolutely not. Not even close. He's not mentioned in the Holy Quran. What else did he ask? He asked the other thing I need to explain is what is the Mujaddid? So there's a hadith, authentic hadith from Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It says that every century there will be a Mujaddid or someone who revives the deen. Every century, Allah will send somebody that revives the deen. We have no idea who that is, and we only get an idea of who they may be by looking in the past, right? And we can look at in the past, the great scholars of the Ummah that have had a tremendous effect upon the Ummah. And that's one of the conditions of the Mujaddid is that they have to have an effect on the entire Muslim Ummah. You can't be a Mujaddid and only be a leader of, even if you are upon the Quran and the Sunnah, if you only have a few thousand followers and there's billions of Muslims in the world, you're not a Mujaddid because you're not going to have an effect on the Ummah. So Mubarak Jelani is clearly not the Mujaddid because there's maybe 3,000 to 5,000 people in TMOA. which is like 0.00000000001% of the Muslims that exist in the world. So no, he's definitely clearly not the Mujaddid. Who's the Mujaddid of the century? We have no idea. But after we pass away, 100, 200 years from now, people will get their theories of who it was based on what sheikhs or what scholars had a great, tremendous impact on bringing Muslims back to the correct path of Islam. Let's see. Do you have another question?
Virgins of Risala Ruhi, India, Pakistan. Yeah, that's where it originates. Sultan Bahu is the first person to like be credited with Risala Ruhi. He's an Indian. This is before Pakistan became a free country. So yeah, he's an Indian. So it originates there. All Shirk.
Yep. All Shirk, and there's certain areas in the world that are just prime for shirk and mixing of deviant beliefs into Islam. India is one. And unfortunately, some parts of Africa is another one. So a lot of tribalism, a lot of tribal beliefs, ancestor stuff, just mixing these things in with Islam. That's unfortunate. So if there's no more questions, I guess I'll start closing out. Alhamdulillah, subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So I wanted to close out today talking about some lessons that we can take for those of us who are given dawah from the Battle of Hunain. And the Battle of Hunain is talked about in Surah Tawbah and ayats 25 and 26. And Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. لقد نصركم الله في مواطن كثيرة ويوم هنين إذ أعجبتكم كثرتكم فلم تغني عنكم شيئا وضاقت عليكم الأرض بما رحبت ثم وليتم مدبرين. So Allah says, Allah has already given you victory in many regions, and even on the day of Hunain, when your great number pleased you, but it did not avail you at all, and the earth was confining for you with its vastness, then you turned back fleeing. So just a little background on the Battle of Hunain. This happened after the conquest of Mecca. So this is when Rasul Sallallahu took over Mecca, and now the Muslims are in a great force, thousands and thousands of Muslims, as opposed to in the past where you have the Battle of Badr when there's 300 Muslims versus thousands, where the Muslims are fighting battles where they're small in number and beating forces that are large in number, right? Excuse me. And this is when Allah mentions in the ayat that I just read, it says, Allah has already given you victory in many regions, right? Talking about the past victories when they had small numbers. And he gave him victory on the Battle of Hunain. But the numbers, so what happened is when after the conquest of Mecca, the Muslims were going to fight the people of Taif, a certain tribe from the people of Taif. And as they're marching there, some of the Muslims were like bragging, like, yeah, we're definitely going to win. We have like, thousands and thousands of troops. We're like, this is their thought process that we have so much in number that we're definitely going to win this battle. But turns out that they got into the Valley of Hunain, and they were ambushed, and I forget the name of the tribe, but they were excellent archers, and they ambushed them, rained down arrows on them, and the vast majority of the army just fled, ran away, retreated. Pretty much everybody except for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was on a mule. He stood in his place, and he actually had to be held back by one of the Sahabas from charging forward into the army, right? And he had to call. So and he had to call the Sahabas and other Muslims at that time back, like, come back, come fight. He said, I am the messenger of Allah, right? I'm not a liar. Come back, come back to the battle. So like a few hundred came back. And long story short, they ended up winning. The same battle that where the ayat that where Rasul Sallallahu threw the handful of dust at the enemy right? And Allah made it a miracle and had it blind all the enemy, and the Muslims won, right? So the lesson here for us, and the lesson that Allah gives with this ayah, is teaching the Muslims that success comes from Allah, solely from Allah. It's not in the planning, it's not in the resources, it's not in the numbers, it's not in whatever we think we do in this world that gives us this perceived advantage of success. It only comes from Allah. So looking back at what, especially us in R2F and the ones that have been active and given dawah for the last few years, right? It doesn't matter how many numbers we get. It doesn't matter how many people come and leave R2F. It doesn't matter what the number of views we have. It doesn't matter the number of subscribers we have. It doesn't even matter how many people actually leave TMOA. Because for us who is giving dawah, we know that the success comes from Allah, not in the numbers that we have, not in the perceived power that we think we're going to have, right? Even if nobody from TMOA heeds the message and leaves, which we already know is false because hundreds of people have left TMOA. Hundreds of people. We have just learned that members of the Shura Council have left the belief of TMOA, but they can't leave because they're in a certain position and they're stuck. They have acknowledged the falsehood. People at the highest level, it's only a matter of time of people in Jelani's own family acknowledge, yeah, this is false. Even though we already had it with his one son, Shafat, already acknowledged that, yes, my father was upon falsehood. He had his own motives, so he backtracked that. But soon there will be somebody from his own family that will publicly speak out and try to guide people away from TMOA, right? This is the nature of what happens. But for us and anybody who's given dawah, is that we don't do it for any worldly benefit, because we know the victory is going to come from Allah no matter what. It's going to be given from Allah no matter what we do, right? But we do it for the success that Allah gives us in the hereafter. All the blessings we give for striving and working fi sabilillah. So the brother that mentioned that, oh, you have nothing to do besides this is your whole life for this, that. I actually wish it was my whole life to just sit here and give dawah. That would be nice to be in a position where all we had to do or all we did is just give dawah to people or just give dawah to TMOA. Because we just see racking up all these blessings if Allah accepts it from us, if we're doing it sincerely for Allah's sake. So I just wanted to end on that, is that for those of you who are striving and working at guiding people, the spreading the message, whether it be liking our YouTube videos, whether it be watching our show, whether it be sharing the links, whether it be putting, subtle comments in your statuses to try to guide the people away from the falsehood of TMOA, whatever it is that you're doing, keep doing it and keep striving hard and keep trying to improve on that, because you're going to get the blessings for it. Whether or not anybody's guided or not, that's up to Allah, because the success of it comes from Allah. So just remember that and keep plugging away. وما علينا إلا بلاغ مبين. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.